Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Brilliant to be here. As Margaret said, thank you for the introduction, Margaret. My name is Jonathan Cox. I'm the Marketing Director at Rye Group, and I'm delighted to see that some of you don't need instructions. You're already scanning that QR code. So please do that if you haven't started, because I know I am one of only two people standing between you and a beer, so I'm going to try and keep you engaged for the next 20 minutes. So if you haven't done so already, join the Wi-Fi. You can either scan the QR code or go to menti.com and just type in that code that you see there. I'm going to leave this on screen for you to do that while I introduce what we're going to do, because through the presentation I just want to get some opinions from you and get some feedback on the topic. Now, as Margaret said, last year I spoke about carbon audits in demolition and carbon reduction, and this year it's something different. The topic that I'm going to talk about today is about the talent and skills crisis in demolition and the issues that surround it. Excuse me. We're getting lots of thumbs up. Brilliant. 79 of us are already engaged, so give us a thumbs up tap on the screen that you've got there. Now, recently I've been running a research study where we've been reaching out to demolition and construction professionals to get their views on the talent and skills shortage and what the solutions could possibly be to help us build a sustainable, modern, thriving workforce for the industry. I've also been talking with students. So I've been into a number of schools and sat down with people who are 16 or 17 years old, getting their opinions. What are they thinking? What are they considering for their future careers? Okay, we've got 99 of you. Come on, we must have 100th. Let's get one more thumbs up tap. Okay, right, too late. On we go. So what are the issues that are facing us as an industry? What are the perceptions of young people, and how do we build a future for the demolition industry and the workforce? So it's going to be interactive, as I say, and we're going to test how many of you are awake, how many of you can use a mobile or a cell phone. And I'm going to ask you a simple question to start with. Where are you from? So on your phone now, you should all have a poll. If you just select, excellent, blimey, you guys are good. Straight in there. So we start to see where people in the room are from. So we've got a lot, unsurprisingly, from North and Central America. We've got a good number of Europeans, always happy to go on holiday. South Americans, Oceanian, Asians. So we have people from all around the world. So that's brilliant. This is really just a test, if you can actually use your phone. But you've passed with flying colours. But this is really interesting. Okay, so here, unsurprisingly, a very North and Central American focused audience, a large number of Europeans. The survey that I conducted was predominantly, unsurprisingly, UK focused. That most respondents came from the UK, and this is phase one. So it'll be interesting to see if we get different responses from a different geographic audience. We had a good split between demolition and construction, complete our research, and some really consistent themes between both. So perhaps there's something there that we can work on between the two industries. Okay. So I'm going to ask the next question. This is the first question we asked in our research. It was about the age of a workforce. So how old, and think about this, I'll bring the poll up in a second. How old is your workforce, your demolition workforce now, compared to 2019? Has it got younger, stayed the same, or got older? Okay, so you should be able to vote now. Okay. Good responses coming in. Excellent. Just give another 10 seconds or so. Right, so we've got quite a good number where it's saying it's reduced and got younger, but overall it looks like what you're saying is the workforce has broadly got older compared to 4 years ago. And that's what the response to our research said as well. Most are saying it's either stayed the same or got older. Just about 20% saying their workforce has got younger. Now, obviously, if this trend continues, there's a challenge. We're going to reach a breaking point where people are retiring, doing something else, and there isn't enough young blood coming into the industry. So this presents a real challenge, and so we need to fill the gap, right? There needs to be more fresh blood coming into the bottom of the funnel, if you like, and fueling the future. Otherwise, in 10 years' time, we're going to be looking around, wondering how we're going to staff our jobs. So recruitment is vital, and that's the next bit that we're going to look at. And what our research respondents said about recruitment was that compared to 2019, in fact, to recruit labour now, it's either challenging or very challenging to find the right labour. And also, it's got harder or much harder to find the appropriate labour. Okay? So 2 questions. We've got an older workforce, and it's really tough to find new labour. This is a challenge. This is something we need to be thinking about. So what I want to be thinking about is what are the reasons for that? Because if we don't understand the reasons, then it's going to be very hard to come up with the appropriate solutions for that. And one thing we're going to look at is the perceptions of young people, because it is, of course, them that we need to be talking to as well. Now, I'm going to ask you another question in a second, okay? And you're going to have on your screen in a little bit, is what skills or what areas are most lacking in the applicants that you were talking to for jobs? People who are coming to you to work or trying to apply for a job, what do you think is most lacking? And you're going to have 8 options. You can select up to 3. So select up to 3 of these that you think are most lacking in the applicants that you are seeing. Other. In the research, when I put other, I did give people the option to type it, but you don't have that option. Okay, so loads of responses coming in. Interesting. Okay, we'll give another few seconds. We've got 64 responses, 68, 70. Okay, well, I know we've got at least 99 people on here. Okay, we're getting there. So it looks like the biggest gaps that you are seeing are technical skills and relevant experience. Okay? So you are seeing lots of gaps here. And then things like leadership, communication, and team working coming in afterwards. Well, brilliant news, you matched the people who responded to our survey. Big issues around technical skills and relevant experience, and hey, chicken and egg. How do you get technical skills without experience and training? How do you get the experience? It goes hand in glove. And so this is really vital information for us, for federations. Jose sat here, and there's plenty more federations here. We need to understand this. We need to dive into that. Workforce is getting older. Recruitment of young people is getting tougher, and there are these gaps. So how can we provide this experience? How can we develop the skills and expertise to fuel the future, to find the people that we need? One really quick piece of one finding from the research, specifically looking at young people. Previous slide was talking about recruitment overall, but is it a challenge to recruit young people? 95% are saying yes, it is. So just reaffirming something which is, it's maybe an assumption that we may have had, but this is what people in the industry are saying. And so again, we need to understand the perceptions of the young people to be able to address these issues and move forward. Okay. So as I said earlier, I went and ran a number of focus groups with some schools in my local area back in the UK. And I appreciate that's just a sample of one area of one very small part of the world, but it's something to go on, and we can do more of this. And just ask one very simple question. How interested, out of 5, how interested are you working in demolition or construction? Demolition, 1.4 out of 5. Construction, 2 out of 5. That's all they're interested in, okay? And the conversation we had was, are you thinking about this? Is this something that is even on your radar that appeals to you? So they're telling us they aren't interested. And this ties up with our own experiences. This is what we've been saying. This is what people responding to the research are saying, that they're finding it tough to recruit young people in general. So this is something to look at. So I'm now going to ask you another question. And on your screen now, you're going to have 3 boxes. I'd ask you to put one word in each box, no more than one word because of the way this will present. But why is it difficult, do you think, to recruit into the industry? So 3 words, one in each box, as to why it's difficult to recruit into the industry. I'm hoping it's working. This one takes a bit longer to come through. Lazy. Knowledge. Okay. And I guess some of these will vary country by country because there are different regulations, different ways of working. Dirty. Stigma, income. Interest coming through. That's interesting. Loads of responses. Okay. Knowledge. Physical. Lack of flexibility. You can't work from home. Dirty's getting bigger. Interest, knowledge again. Perception. Big word this. Pay. Passion. Money. So I'm sure there are lots of groupings there, right? There'll be other words we could group together, but I love it when a plan comes together. when you ask a question and the answer comes back just as you want it. So we've got big words in there around perception, around interest, around knowledge, around money. Okay, we've got lazy in there, and it's hard, and it's physical, and it's dirty. Now, what people who responded to our research said, and I've grouped these because I didn't want as many on there, so I'll try to group the responses. I'm going to move on, so thank you for inputting there. These are the words that came up from the people who completed our research. Slap bang in the middle, massive publicity. Okay? So the biggest reason that people who completed this survey, so people who, and by the way, when we did this research, we disqualified anyone who doesn't work with talent or recruitment or personnel. So this isn't just the opinion of anyone. These are people who deal with recruitment and talent development. And they're saying that the biggest issue is publicity of what we do and the opportunities that exist. But you dig deeper, yes, there are issues around it being dirty, perceptions that we are dirty as an industry. It's tough, it's dangerous, there's low pay. And a belief that people are maybe looking for softer jobs. Working in offices. I work in an office, it's great. But, there is that perception that's what a lot of people want to do. So, this is from the people who are interviewing candidates. But what do the young people say? And I've grouped this even into smaller groups because the nature of the survey I did with the students was an ongoing discussion. But these are the words that came out. Pay was a massive thing. They don't believe that there is a path to progress, to build a good career where you can earn good money. But then you look at some of the words that are around the edges and they group together. Injuries, death, safety. These are perceptions that young people have about this industry and why they're hesitant to work in the industry. And then, quite sadly, some of the emotive words around it's not interesting, it's boring. And this sounds really doom and gloom, but it's really important to be honest with ourselves and to understand what people are thinking to help us come up with the solutions. Because, as I say, I did a focus group, so I got to dig deeper into what they were thinking. And what was really interesting was, while they came up with these words before we spoke to them, it was clear that they didn't actually understand what was involved. They didn't know what jobs existed, and they don't know what opportunities, the good work that is done by the industry, and the positive impact that we have on society. They're concerned about health and safety, and they're concerned about contributing to society. Goes a lot back to the brand that Simone was talking to us about earlier. Now, what brand do we have as an industry? It's not seen as an appealing place to work, but that's because they don't understand. So all is not lost. So this was really interesting to me in helping understand what we should be doing. And in a second, we're going to move on to what we do about that. But I think this is a wake-up call for us all, as contractors, as supply chain partners, as federations. And I know a lot's been done already, but it's another wake-up call to say, look, we need to do more, and we need to go about it fast. So how do we address these issues? This is a big question, isn't it? How do we address the aging workforce, the fact that it's challenging to recruit, the fact that people are not really finding it interesting to come and work in our industry? So, as I say, the overarching theme, both from what professionals in our industry have said, but also what the young people are saying when you get to talk with them, is a lack of understanding. It's about myths. There are myths which are out there. People don't understand what it's all about. Both of, as I say, what opportunities exist in a career in demolition. And also, by the way, the industry is not the demon that many people perceive it to be. So when we ask what should we do about this in our research, this is what the respondents said. I'll let you just have a quick look at that. So basically, this comes down to raising the profile of the industry more. Beyond this room, this room's brilliant. We've got a great room of professionals here. And in our markets, a great community where we are talking about it. But we need to be out there in the schools. We need to be engaging with schools and colleges, careers offices early on. We need to get governments to help promote as well. We need to be emphasising the positive aspects of the industry. So how are we working with the media? And it's brilliant to be, obviously, in the arms of KHL today, and this is a theme which I know is being spoken about, but we need to work across all media channels. We need to get into workplaces. We need to work with the military, probation services. And another thing is, of course, if we said earlier, there are a lot of people without the relevant skills or the relevant experience, then apprenticeships, traineeships need to come even more to the fore and bridge that gap. So I know loads of these ideas have been spoken about, and Jose and I had a chat this morning, and he was saying about some of the working groups that the EDA have started up and how they're looking to do more of this, and the minister who was here this morning was talking about some of the work that's been done in Ontario. So it's not saying that none of this has been thought of, but we need to put some jet fuel into this and accelerate it. In the UK, the National Demolition Training Group, NDTG, has recently launched a Trailblazer apprenticeship scheme. It's had a good start, it's had a good uptake. But how widely known are these schemes outside the industry? You know, the people who've got apprentices on it have gone and found them themselves through recruitment. But is that scheme being spoken about in careers offices, in schools? And are people knocking our door down to say, I want to work in demolition and construction? So we have evidence, we know something needs to be done, and so really the call today is that we all sit down and think, right, what can we do? Which schools can we go out and visit? Can we go and engage in a careers day, like some of the things Anna Simone was saying that she's been doing? Federations, what working groups, what task forces can we put together to really try and drive change and address some of these issues, to raise the profile and to increase the appeal and the brand of the industry, so that when kids are asked when they're younger, what do you want to be? They don't say, I want to be an astronaut. They say, I want to work in demolition. So I'm going to leave it there. There's lots to consider. But really, as I say, the request is go away, think about this. Can you offer work experience? Can you do something to promote the industries, and then work with the federations to push this agenda forward? And sorry, I'll leave this on the screen, and I'm going to ask if we can share this afterwards, because it'd be great to get more responses to the survey. It'll take you 5 minutes, and we'll be able to share those results to see if the same themes and ideas continue across the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. I think we have a few moments for questions, so we'll take some questions from the audience. Go ahead, up at the front here. Just wait, we'll get you a mic.
Good talk, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Wayne Bagnall, UK, and I just wanted to share this with you. I had a prisoner contact me about 5 years ago, wanted to get into the asbestos industry, which is allied to demolition, but he needed some help for training. So I said, well, look, when you get out, contact me. And he did. I brought him onto one of the management courses. I told him just to say that he was, kind of new to the industry. I didn't push him, I didn't want to embarrass him. But he went on to become a trained asbestos surveyor, which was good. And I just wondered if that could be a source of potential recruitment. Don't panic. He was a nice guy. He'd gone off the rails, but we should all get a second chance. And also, I was thinking about the forces, because they often sign up for maybe 9, 12 years, and when they come out of the forces, they often get retrained to go for heavy goods vehicles and things like this. Maybe we ought to be approaching the forces like the Army, the Navy. Well, the Army, obviously the engineers, they would be perfect because they're using explosives, and the Air Force.
100%. No, I think you're dead right. Last year, I don't know if you remember in Vienna, I know you were there, I recognise you. I was presenting with a colleague, Ben, and he was ex-forces, and at Rye, actually, that's something we've really gone down the route of, is looking at ex-forces personnel and former prisoners, because, as you say, they're a talent pool, they need a second chance, they can contribute to society. There are many transferable skills from all walks of life, so that is something which, again, I know is being done in pockets. Yeah. The NFDC in the UK is looking at that to an extent. Again, for me, it's lots of ideas are there, but it needs to be pulled together, and there needs to be more momentum and more concerted effort. Almost like, you'll know this in the UK, and I'm sure you all see it. You watch TV and you see adverts, right, for tourism in Turkey. Come to Turkey or come to Kenya, and there's a big campaign. Or you see jobs for join the army. In the UK, it's Army Be the Best, isn't it? I think there's a campaign. Or join teaching. It's almost like all of these ideas need to be pulled together and, focused and amplified.
Yeah, just wanted to share that. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Jonathan, as we have in Ontario a program called Helmets to Hard Hats.
Okay.
And it's an actual organization that focuses just on, veterans coming out of the industry and going into construction. So lots of different ways. So
and it's those things to bring across, right, all the different federations around the world and make sure we amplify.
And how do we do that?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's got to be at the top of the agenda. It's got to be a stated aim. If we're not thinking about it, if we don't have it as a stated aim, we are going to do nothing about it. And then I think, frankly, this does require leadership from the federations, because they are the uniting forces amongst us all as contractors. We can all do little bits. So really the call is that there are greater task forces at each federation, and hopefully collaboration. Jose's sticking his hand up saying, I'm doing it. And get a program, get a strategy in place amongst those organisations to drive it forward. And I think the other key thing is it really helps if you have governments on board, if you have local and national governments on board saying, we are the lifeblood. If there's going to be a recession, we're going to be the ones that get us out of it. You need governments to actually be on board and promoting different careers of this type as well.
Yeah. Jose?
Is it on? Oh, it is. So I want to actually slightly disagree with you.
Okay.
We were having the conversation before, and we did the survey together, to the colleagues from Europe and so on. But you just left the answer. You just put it there. You had it in your hand all the time. Where is your phone? There is that's what everyone that we want to reach out to has in common, a smartphone. So we want to focus a lot more on reaching to them where they're looking at. Not on the recruitment centers, because everyone is looking at that.
Yeah.
So we were talking before that, it's not that we have to talk with the employers, with the owners of the companies, what they want, because they know what they want. But this is a war out there for trying to attract people. The labor market is extremely unstable right now. And we are probably less interesting, but we do incredible work.
Yeah.
And the videos, Brian before was showing the presentation of between two slides, he was showing the video. And if we show to the world what we do, we would be way more attractive. But we need to pack it and reshape it, and we need to work with the communication and marketing people that we focus on the phone, this networks, and everything. Because that's what they have in common.
It's about changing the culture, right?
I don't think we're disagreeing at all. I think that's what we're saying is we've got to be out there, but there needs to be leadership of how that goes forward.
Very good.
100%.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.